Hello everybody, let's talk about identity shift today. We had a really good social and people shared that they're now monitoring sleep cycles. They were walking before and now they've added running. And one more thing is about diet, that they have oatmeal in the morning or veggie juices, and the really good thing is the portion control. The trick that we can tell our inner child that don't worry, that food is there, the pizza is there, it's yours, we can have it later, and right now you delay it because you're not hungry and you don't need it right now. One of the biggest things I observed is that one person started off saying, I'm not into health, but I do tiny things like making sure we eat at home most of the time, home cooked meals, making sure that they're infusing a lot of carrots, spinach into homemade flat cakes, and also no addiction to coffee, tea, and more into ginger tea. So I realized that this person is doing really good health choices, but identifies themselves as not into health. So we had a very good discussion about it because it's all about that identity shift. If I feel unhealthy because I'm 40 pounds over, even when I go to the gym, out of motivation, self-control, willpower, it's not going to last. Because what does an unhealthy person do? They drop out. They don't stick to a good schedule. And if they fall off the wagon, they don't get back on. So we are what is called self-prophesizing. I think that's the word. We do what we think we are. It's not what we are trying to do, because our focus is on the lack. Who we are not is what we identify ourselves with. But our ideal self wants to be healthy. I mean, we're all living right now. We want to live. So we are all into health. We're not into sickness. Nobody craves that. Nobody talks like that, right? So what does it mean when we're into health? That we're actually health conscious person. Our identity, if we want to lose that 40 pounds, if we want to shift our life cycle into more and more health choices, is that I'm a healthy person. That's the number one thing that will last, that identity, even if it feels fake initially, because we will talk more about it, that will stay when motivation is gone out of the window, when willpower has evaporated, when self-control has gone down the drain. It's my identity. Just because a student doesn't go to school for 2 weeks, do you think they identify themselves as, okay, I'm not a student anymore? No. They know that when the summer is done, they're going to go to school. So they are not shifting from the identity that they're not a student. Just like that, just because we are not at the ideal body weight or ideal situation, doesn't make us not health conscious. Doesn't make us that we're not into health, because we're definitely not into sickness. So one of the biggest things for me is that to ask myself, what does a health conscious person do? What does a healthy person do? Do they make this choice or do they make that choice? And yes, they're not perfect. So sometimes they make poor choices, and that's okay, because a healthy person will get back on the wagon again. We don't need to beat ourselves up for what we are not. We need to raise ourselves up for what we are aiming to be, because that's our true identity. So yes, I was reading a lot about this in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this insight is what made me realize that this is exactly what I was doing in my world adventures. When I was jumping off the highest mountain in France, and I was really terrified, even though it was tandem. I mean, you can just see, you're like literally jumping into your death, but you're safe. To me, I'm not used to that, but my identity shifted because I was with people who were doing something similar. There were many people there trying to experience this tandem paragliding. So for me, I shifted from, I'm from a small town. I don't do scary things. I'm not into adventure. I'm this scared, like my mom used to call me scaredy chicken, chicken little. So I could stay in that identity. And when you realize it, as children, we all did role play. We loved doing role play drama. And I remember with my brother and my cousin, we had this story with 3 characters. And every time we enacted during that summer, we all would shift the character. Sometimes I would be the one on the horse. Sometimes someone would be the police. Sometimes I would be the thief. So we shifted. So as the young mindset, the youthful approach to life is to be okay to shift our identity, not to be stuck. But in 20s, when we start adulting, it becomes a rigid mindset, like this is who I am an engineer.